Siberia Hills, often regarded as the brand for anime fans whose parents won't let them buy their r/teenagers hoodie. Enough joking around, let's get serious. I'm a very serious man with a serious channel. Siberia Hills is often regarded as quirky, dark, and mysterious, which is reflected through their collections, most notably the Spring-Summer 2019 collection entitled Alien Creatures. This collection does a great job of providing insight as to what the brand is all about. This collection heavily conveys extraterrestrial-related themes through the use of tie-dye and alien imagery. Daf Orlovsky, I definitely butchered that one, is the supposed founder of Siberia Hills. I put that in quotes as that is something I will touch on later. He has stated, "With Siberia Spirit, we have no boundaries on the subjects we touch on, and no limit on what we create," which, when taking that at face value, is a great message. However, upon digging deeper and seeing through the facade, it is evident that there is limit in regard to what you can create, especially when you are caught using stolen artwork on multiple occasions and copying the aesthetic of the brand. Hello Ragers, in this video I will be exploring the streetwear brand known as Siberia Hills. I will first start by explaining their origins with the sources readily available to me via the lovely internet, as well as touching on Daf, the brand's founder. Then I will be exploring the brand's controversial collaborations, as well as diving deeper into some interesting conspiracies and information that I have found out that I haven't seen talked about before. I will also be sharing a bit of my opinion on the matter occasionally. However, I do want to try my best to only provide information with this video instead of coming off as biased. But I hope I am able to provide you with some insight in regard to this very mysterious and quirky brand, so get ready for some knowledge to be bestowed upon you by the dictator of Instagram. I'll be sure to include a bunch of links about these subjects in the description if you're interested in looking into this further. Now, the origins of Siberia Hills are kind of unclear, as there are a few conflicting stories about the brand's beginnings. It is safe to say that they are living up to their mysterious aesthetic. So, before I get into some of the more unclear and not really publicly known aspects of the brand, I'll first talk about the story of the beginning of the brand that is most commonly accepted and believed to be true by many, as explained by Daf in this complex article from July 2019. Here's a quick rundown of the brand. So, according to Daf himself, he claims that the brand began with an email with Kanye. I'm guessing this is around late 2016, early 2017. Daf further elaborates on that by stating that he had met Kanye in New York while he was still in high school. Daf basically told Kanye he wanted to work with him on clothes. He said Kanye gave him his email and included Virgil Abloh on one of the messages. This definitely served as motivation for Daf. Daf later dropped out of Parsons Design School in New York in order to focus on the industry, follow his dreams, and travel to the Himalayas. Ah yes, typical art student stuff. So he spent 2 months in the Himalayas in India, which served as inspiration for his, at the time, unnamed brand, which later turned into Siberia Hills. Also, Siberia Hills is like the mainline brand and the brand's name, and Siberia Spirit is like a subline, which is online only too, I believe. It's slightly confusing, but I just wanted to add that in. Also, Daf is a pretty mysterious dude in and of himself, as he often deletes his Instagram posts on his personal account as well as the brand's. However, what is known about him is that he has family roots in Siberia. I know, pretty shocking. And is close with many notable people such as Huron Preston, Matthew M. Williams, and obviously Ian Connor and his crowd. He has also been rumored to be dating Australian model Sahara Ray. Furthermore, back to the brand, in fall 2017, Daf released his first collection entitled A Brush with Violence, which included 2 colorways of probably the brand's most iconic pieces, as seen here on Ian Connor, which was met with some slightly harsh feedback. Also, is it just me or do you guys get like Virginia Creeper vibes from these? There's definitely some strong Raph influence here, and upon looking into this further, this is reinforced through Daf saying he looks up to Raph, and it is stated in this Hypebeast article from 2017 that this collaboration is a salute to Francis Bacon, Stanley Kubrick, and Raph Simmons, who all served as inspiration behind the vision of his label. I just thought this was interesting, as Daf definitely wears his influences on his sleeve. More to come on that later. Anyway, the early Siberia Hills pieces and aesthetic were relatively dark, but Daf wanted to move the brand in a different direction, which was evident through the Sailor Moon inspired tees and hoodies, which helped further increase the brand's popularity. These were all a part of the Spirit line. Also, the fact that the hoodie was seen on our boy Ian Connor, Bloody Osiris, Made in Tokyo, and Bella Hadid may have helped hype it up. Just a hunch. Essentially, it is evident that Daf just goes with the flow in regard to his Siberia subline. Moreover, Daf and Siberia Hills continue to gain notoriety within the streetwear community. Some good, some bad, but it's safe to say he was definitely raking in the cash and making connections in the industry, which is evident through the handful of collaborations the brand would soon be involved in, which is something I'll touch on in the next section. Since Siberia Hills had been gaining in popularity, how could they further get their name out there? Well, they chose to do the only logical thing. Of course, that would be to collab with the infamous group of pro 1080 titty knack instaswap trickshot kings. Wait, FaZe Clan is mostly Fortnite now? No one will understand that reference? Anyway, Siberia Hills decided to debut a collab with FaZe Clan in March 2019, with the Anime Warfare collection. This collection featured one design on 2 hoodies, one white one and one black one. If you don't know what FaZe Clan is, they're essentially an esports team with many notable members, including Banks and that one dude who filmed himself using aimbot on Fortnite and then got upset when he was banned. Okay, before I go off topic, this collab was met with a lot of mixed feedback. Also, it's said here in this Hypebeast article that these hoodies feature an original design, which is pretty ironic considering there was rumors going around that the artwork was stolen. Yep. Twitter user Cafe Party had found the anime girl designs on DeviantArt as well as the trees that they use in the original design. So Twitter started doing as Twitter does and jumped to conclusions that FaZe and Siberia Hills had basically just stolen the original artist's work and changed the color scheme a bit without proper consent from the artists. However, FaZe responded to this by saying that they do own the rights to the images and that the allegations were false. As far as I can find, Siberia Hills has not addressed this incident and neither has the original artist. There isn't much information on this topic and I don't want to draw any false conclusions, so I'll just give the brand the benefit of the doubt on this one. However, later that same year, on August 7th, Billie Eilish announced that she had partnered with Siberia Hills for a limited merch run. This was definitely huge news for the brand, as Billie was blowing up. It's safe to say that this collab would be monumental for Siberia Hills, and with this awesome anime design, it was sure to be a hit, but they kind of fucked up. Fans of the anime franchise Love Live were quick to see that the character featured in the designs was the popular character Nozomi Tojo, and the art used seemed to really resemble fan art of the well-known artist Makoto Kurokawa, which is seen here. It is safe to say that Billie fans and Siberia Hills fans alike were not pleased with this one. Siberia Hills apologized to the artist in a now deleted Instagram post. Thankfully, there are still screenshots of this post online. They stated that, "We apologize for taking your artwork for our merchandise collaboration with Billie Eilish. Billie and her team were not aware we used your art, and they just believed in the product." Is it just me, or does this not sound like a truly sincere apology? It really seems as if Siberia Hills tries to get away with something first and then ask for forgiveness later, rather than outright just ask for permission from the artist. Also, if you're interested in hearing more about this topic, check out this video by ProgressYT. He talks about the Billie collab in a bit more depth and provides some extra insight. I'll link his video below as well as some additional articles relating to the collab. With the deleted Instagram posts and controversial collaborations, it is safe to say that there is some disingenuous stuff going on over at Siberia Hills HQ. However, upon digging deeper, I've essentially discovered that this is just the tip of the iceberg. So a couple weeks ago, I was talking with a reliable source who wanted to remain anonymous. He told me about how the majority of the Siberia Hills brand was stolen from a Tumblr blog. Their aesthetic, the name, practically everything was copied. This source had mentioned that someone named Philip was the original owner of the Tumblr blog, and he gave me Philip's Instagram handle and told me that he could explain the situation better. Now, I was pretty taken aback by this information, as I hadn't heard about this before. However, as I had known about Siberia Hills doing some shady stuff in the past, I wasn't exactly surprised either. I wanted to do a bit more research before contacting Philip, so I went deep into the Grand Archives via the Wayback Machine. If you don't know what the Wayback Machine is, it basically acts as an archive for the internet. No, not an archive page. This site allows you to see what things were like on the internet years ago, such as old Twitters, websites, etc. So I searched a bit and was able to find one screenshot of the Siberia Hills Tumblr from June of 2018. This helped back up what the anonymous source had mentioned. I scrolled down to the bottom of the page and thankfully there was an Instagram link. I looked at the link and it directed me to an account with Philip in the username. At this point, it felt as if I had just solved the Da Vinci Code, as this essentially confirmed the suspicions. About a day or so later, I contacted Philip via the DMs and told him I was researching Siberia Hills for a YouTube video and that someone pointed me in his direction. So I asked if I could ask him a few questions about his Tumblr. Thankfully, he agreed and is allowing me to share this information with you guys. And Philip, if you're watching this, you're awesome and I appreciate this a lot. I first asked him if he could give me some more context on his blog, like what type of content did it consist of and when was he actively running it. He stated he was back on Tumblr around 2016-2017, came up with the name Siberia Hills and used it as a burner account basically to post mainly images from his camera roll or pictures from other places, as well as text posts containing short phrases. I then asked him if anyone from Siberia Hills had contacted him about using content from his Tumblr, and he stated, Daff texted me asking to keep running my Tumblr as the brand's Tumblr. Daff apparently offered to pay him to serve as a social branding person, but Philip said a couple weeks went by and no one ever paid him, so he changed his blog's name to Sunshine's Grey. They had also asked him to promote some new releases. Philip then sent me a DM he got from Daff a while after they had asked him to run the Tumblr. The DM was of Daff asking if he still ran the Tumblr and if he could acquire it for a few pieces. Philip declined because he didn't want to just give away his blog, which is definitely understandable. We then went on to talk a little bit more about how all of this is public domain, so we couldn't really do a whole lot about the situation. Although, as mentioned earlier, Siberia Hills has since deleted a lot of their Instagram posts, it's safe to say that their aesthetic does bear some similarities to Philip's posts. All in all, I thought this was very interesting, as this information is not very well known to a lot of people, and it makes me wonder what else Daff is lying about. Well, that's about it. I talked about Siberia Hills' mysterious origins, explained some controversies, and brought to light some pretty interesting information. Hopefully you were able to learn something new from this video. And if you made it this far, thank you very much. I would also like to know your thoughts on this situation. Do you think Siberia Hills is wrong for the things that they've done? Thanks again for watching. See you kings in the next one.
Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here?